welcome to another high-energy episode of the podcasting cousins you've known to love, you've loved to known. My name's Ben.
My name's Michael. And today,
we're excited.
We are continuing
obviously.
our spins through System of a Down's discography.
We are very close to being all the way reviewed with every System of a Down song ever made. Got a few more for you. We got some good ones for you. I'm excited. This is a good song. You Fig.
You Fig, as in you figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Also doing Holy Mountains, the back end, the second half of the Hypnotize album by the boys, the men, the titans. They're like titans of rock. Like they are on that echelon, dude.
Yes.
Mount Rushmore of alternative metal. You just got the four System of a Down faces. Who else do you need? I mean, there's other metal bands, but in terms of this kind of, you just make the Mount Rushmore, the face from Mesmerize, the face from Hypnotize, the hand from the Hand album, and the Toxicity Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
Everything but steal this album.
Pretty much.
That's the Mount Rushmore of alternative metal.
Yeah. Although that is, I think, iconic in its own right. But yes, I agree with you. The four on the Mount Rushmore. Well, You Fig.
We got four more to rush for.
Yeah. Four more to rush for.
Starting with You Fig. We do know what it stands for, but go.
You flag-waving ignorant Greeks.
Ooh.
Criticizing military propaganda, messaging die for us and kill for us and that kind of thing. Of course, we've seen that message through multiple songs, including in their double albums here that were released in 2005.
It's another one. It's like War, where it's tongue in cheek. It's making fun of them. You know, they're going for the power and you're singing along with what you're not supposed to be singing along with. Basically, like they're doing their kind of war crimes chant, beat 'em, eat 'em. It's revving you up. It's showing you the power. It's showing you the intensity and the emotion of that, and how people get swept away by it. You get swept away by the rock and roll of it, and you're like, whoa, what am I saying? This is actually awful. This is actually,
very scary and very influential. And I like the messaging that the lyrics have to kind of couple with that. Melt in the sun, who wants to come with me and melt in the sun. Hide in the sky, who wants to come with me and hide in the sky. In that second verse, come join the cause, who wants to come with me and come join the cause.
I was positive he said melt in the sand as a kid, but I guess it's not that big of a difference. But I just imagined people kind of just getting bombed and just like glass, like sand turning into glass, and just a whole, society of people just melting in like a nuclear explosion. That's what I thought he was talking about, honestly.
Yeah.
Hide in the sky. Can't, because if they're nuking the ground, you gotta hide in the sky. Don't get stuck in the sky.
Yeah.
Did you ever get stuck in the sky? What's that I say? Have you ever get stuck in the sky?
Hide in the sky.
No, but I'm thinking of that other one too.
Yeah, stuck in the sky.
They do that a lot. They get stuck in the sky. They
hide in the sky, fly in the sky. Lots of highs and flies and hides. And
these guys want to be in the sky or something, bro. Can't blame them.
Well, this would be a fun music video, I think.
I guess. That's the thing.
More engaging, perhaps, than some of their others.
It's like this line we're walking where it's like you don't want to glorify like war or violence, but it's like, you feel that rock power and you're singing like, we will kill the heathens, we will beat them, eat them, and they're showing you how the trick of it works, how you get carried away by the emotions and the power, and you gotta do it respectfully. That's what I'm saying. You could do a video and but it can't be like you're having fun with violence,
death, and playing with the lives.
Or are they having
soldiers.
fun with? I know how they stand politically. It's just when you start basing media on a concept, it's like you got to be really careful with how you present it and how you're making fun. We're not saying we're saying this, but we don't believe what we're saying because we're showing you how dumb they are.
Right. Well, if you take their literal words and put it with the principles and kind of present it in that way. Hide in the sky, the melting, and they switch between, again, like you said, beat 'em and we'll eat 'em. I think you could come up with a very interesting and engaging music video, as opposed to some of their others, which at times become redundant.
Mm-hmm.
Soldiers marching.
A lot of, TVs on your eyes and
sometimes split real-life footage of different events.
A lot of cables, cords. Yeah. I just want a video of, like, cavemen fighting like aliens, and the aliens are just like bombing the crap out of them, and the cavemen are like trying and like throwing rocks at them, and they're just like getting nuked from orbit.
Yeah.
That's what this is to me. That's how I think of this. Just like a one-sided battle. And like the cavemen aren't good guys either. Like they are like savage, like eat each other to begin with. But then they start getting bombed by these like spacemen and like, you know, just laser nukes that they can do nothing about. And then they're the savages. And then they're at war. They flip it around. Realize you're blind. You're out of time. Is that going to work? Do people with a conscience listen to poetry? You know, without a conscience, if someone is a warrior, the little bridge section where they say, realize you're blind and you're out of time. I don't know if that's going to hold back the hordes of beat 'em and eat 'em and all this other stuff of,
yeah.
So I don't know. It'll switch up at that point. Maybe it switches up and there's like a good alien and he's like, look, we don't have to kill each other. We can just kill animals and eat them. And
so we have aliens, cavemen. Do we have normal people too?
No, that's it. It's like, what if aliens came?
Oh, okay.
When we were cavemen, it just nuked us.
Oh, interesting.
And the cavemen, I don't know how it ends. It can't end very well. Maybe they have peace.
It can end in a standstill.
They find out that nothing good. War, there's no good endings in war. There's no, if we're doing it the real way, you know, it would have to show the tragedy of it. It would have to show how it breaks apart families. It changes people. There's people who profit during war, and there's people who profit after war. There's people who, you know, flip it around to where they are profiting off of the violence, but then eventually they probably don't end up as that well either. Justice comes in the end eventually for those people as well, but
certainly,
you know, you can't show it without the consequences.
Certainly.
You got to know that there's people who do it for different reasons, because they're scared or because they want to be, you know, the guy with the treasure and the glory, or just because they're the guy on the ground who's getting whipped up by the propaganda. And it's crazy how much of a waste it really is, just war in general.
Yeah.
Like how you can train people to do almost anything else really besides murder each other, and it would probably be more this obviously isn't though.
How much of a detractor it is and
more
not
lucrative.
beneficial.
Like money wise, it must be more lucrative to teach them how to kill each other as opposed to
unfortunately.
So when's that going to change? Economic incentives. Let's all write poetry. Let's all learn a craft and an art and a skill. Let's all learn how to do all that instead of murder.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know how to tap dance anymore.
Shuffle ball change.
But I mean, whoever, I know you do. I'm just saying, there's a million other ways. Things that bring joy, things that are creative, things that, you know, even scientific advancements. But as System points out, we have these scientific advancements, and then how do we use them? We use them to enslave each other and kill each other. So you gotta have the right trajectory.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I think that in kind of staying with that thought flow, we do have both vocalists to relate it to the music. Both vocalists on here. It's interesting to have from the perspective of it's kind of like the unit coming together, the soldiers coming together to march here forward on the track as opposed to separating them out. Do you like Darren on?
A little bit. I think he's a little too much, honestly. They need them both on here, and they do go back and forth, which is cool. But then he kind of steps on some of Serge's lines.
Yeah, he does. Again, we do have an ebb and flow, but behind some of the quieter, almost more just acoustic sections, and then some of the more crashing, violent war sections as well. So I think it's a good track, all things considered. I think it echoes some of your sentiments as well. No real positive outcome from these lyrics, as usual. It'll show your mind that you have a mind as the outro.
So you have a choice. You have a perspective. If you can look at it from the outside and realize that you're a pawn of some society, don't do that. I mean, do that. Realize you're a pawn. Don't be a pawn.
That's the system message. Be on the outside looking in.
There you go. And don't wave the flag of anything. Possibly. I mean, I guess they get carried away. Maybe that's they're definitely anti-ideology in general. I mean, they don't want you waving any flag.
Collective
they want you
ideology,
waving
at least.
Some kind of collective, yeah. It gets weird. The more people you bring in, the harder it is to keep everyone happy and keep everyone safe but that's not necessarily, it's all the different viewpoints. That's why we have democracy, where people get represented and people can vote and different minorities can have a voice and not get lost in the shuffle of, who knows what's the most fair. There's a lot of people that want power. They all want what they want. Everyone wants what they want. I don't want that. I just want a podcast and be left alone.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guy that's, I don't want to be the king ordering people around. I don't want to be the guy getting ordered around. I don't want to be any of it.
Yeah.
I'm more anti everything than them.
There's also, besides just the war piece of it, there's always, as usual, very much a death kind of flow through it, of course. But melt in the sun, possibly dying on the battlefield, hide in the sky could be death as well. So we have that, not just fighting, but the death of soldiers kind of lingering as an undertone on it as well. Very strong.
They skewer them. They get people thinking. There's definitely people who have heard these albums. Obviously, we can hear this and say anti-war, this and that, and it goes as far as it goes. But I know that there's people who have heard this either growing up where it has changed their perspective or broadened their perspective. I would rather, if I was trying to sign a peace treaty or some kind of, keep two groups of people or two countries together, it's like if I knew that person had listened to System of a Down and had their mind kind of expanded and to see both sides of a conflict or both sides of who's really getting victimized here, what's really going on here. I know, I can't think, not a specific person, but this has been out long enough, and it's even the amount that it's changed our thinking, or at least given us a perspective on some of these issues. There's got to be people who have become either politicians or activists, people who have heard this message and taken it to the next level and actually changed things. It's one thing to say you don't like war, but then it's a whole nother thing to actually
see the ripple effects.
Do some kind of activism on the ground where you're helping, refugees or helping who knows what. They don't offer solutions always, like we said. I mean, so what do? Like the government wants us to kill. Don't do it, obviously. Go die instead of go kill. I don't know. It's different situations, different people, different times, different wars, different conflict, but it gets you thinking. That's the point.
Sure does.
And it shows you how to look at it from an outside perspective instead of just being a drone that goes along with whatever information they tell you.
Well, what are you thinking about a grade
B-.
for you, Fig? That's what I give it to, actually.
Yeah. They've done this stuff before. It's a good song. It's polished. It's like a more polished version of some of what they've done, but there's nothing they've never done on here. There's nothing that really, really sets it aside. It's a more refined nugget than some of the ones.
Yeah, I like some of the I like that they do it on this one and don't overshadow too much, because it does seem like not one of them necessarily needs to take over the vocals here, although Serge does at times when he needs to. And I like that we have a nice bridge on it, instrumentally and lyrically, and I like that we have a little bit of writing, some nice imagery to go along with it. Again, it's not one of their high tier pieces.
And with that, let's move on to the next track, Holy Mountains. We're gonna let it rip right here, and we're gonna react to it after the fact to it. Just another heavy song. There's nobody who sings about stuff that's like this important or this like spiritual and world changing. They're talking about the souls of an entire nation of people who underwent a genocide. This is, again, it's about the Armenian Genocide.
Yes.
The mountains reference Mount Ararat, which is a symbol in Armenian culture. I'm just going to read a quote from Serge that just sums, I guess he said this on MTV, which is, again, it's amazing that they're using that platform to push these kind of messages.
Yes.
He says it's important for people to be aware of the atrocities inflicted on the Armenian people by the Ottoman Empire during World War I, and that those actions continue to be covered up by the Turkish government, the U.S. State Department, the U.S. administration, and Turkey's allies in the defense and oil industries. The Armenian Genocide happened. It was very real to the 1.5 million Armenians who were murdered or deported from their homeland. Had the Armenian Genocide been deemed a crime against humanity in the books after World War I, Hitler might not have thought he could get away with the Jewish Holocaust. That's what Serge said on MTV. They have a mission. They have music. This is so much more important than, I can't even think of a song or an artist who may have said anything more important on
Right.
MTV ever.
The United States just officially recognized the Armenian Genocide as of October 29th, 2019. So again,
Wow.
yeah, it's obviously a horrific event that happened that killed 1 to 1.5 million estimated Armenians, but it was not globally recognized.
I guarantee you that System of a Down screaming their heads off about that on every record for 10 years straight, there's no way that did not have some effect and some ripple effect to change the right mind, to get people to start admitting this in the high levels of our government. And I'm positive it must have helped. And this type of activism, I don't know if you can draw those lines specific. Maybe you can. Maybe if we searched more of what Serge and the boys have officially done. We try to keep it more to the music. It's just when the lyrical content just blows your head off and exposes you to this type of stuff, you start going down every rabbit hole there is. But these guys, I mean, and that's not the only victory. Obviously, getting them to admit that it happened is like step one. That's not the whole point, but I'm proud of them. That's a good step.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous part of the world. It's a gorgeous mountain range. It's just saying that
the music's gorgeous.
Yeah,
like,
I really like this song.
We love these people. We love this song. It's utter tragedy what happened to their culture and what happened to their people. But System carries on. There are no, like, it's just amazing how they push forward like we wouldn't know anything really about.
No,
we wouldn't. We know some things about politics and different international things, but we would not have been aware of any of this without System of a Down. They're like the best possible ambassadors for the spirit of the soul of, and that's what they're talking about, the souls of everybody, and they mean it. They're singing about spiritual, soulful things. They're not singing about here and now on earth things anymore.
Can you feel their haunting presence? Liar, killer, demon, back to the river Aris. Someone's blank stare deemed it warfare. Very blatant. We don't have to interpret anything here, and it's just a great piece to discuss what happened here. And again, love the singing. We have lots of kind of relaxed pieces here where it's more strong for the vocals and to kind of let the song breathe a little bit and kind of get the message out while still being very aggressive on the choruses. And I think it's just a great platform to kind of get this message out. And we've seen it in other tracks as well, but I think this is one of the top as far as discussing the Armenian Genocide and getting their message out.
I give it a B+ song. I think the song itself is interesting. Again, back half of this last album, nothing they haven't really done before, but the riff is good. I think it's better than some of their other power ballad type stuff. I like the liar part. It's very creepy. It like really breaks them down. That's a B+ song.
I actually consider giving it an S because of I like the lyrics. I like the different pieces that we have that are still very System of a Down, but I bumped it down to an A. It is very specific. It's hard sometimes to imagine every situation be playing it, but you can still sing along with it and acknowledge its place in System of a Down's discography. So I still gave it an A. I like the song a lot.
It rocks.
Playing it, looking it up, listening to it.
I can see it fitting really well on stage in their set and just keeping that flow moving along from one piece of the set to another. You can mosh to it. You can pump your fist to it. It's got the ballady sections. Really good song.
And that is Ufig and the Holy Mountains.
Very intense. These guys have opened our eyes. They've shown us a perspective. They're definitely one of the bands, the formative bands who blew our minds, opened us up to a whole universe of sound, musically, sounds we would have never heard, politically, just conflicts that we would have never considered. You know, you get so much drama and on the news and politics, but to hear about, you know, an international event, something that happened in World War I that's still affecting the descendants of these people today, it's like,
exactly.
It's not on the news. It was on MTV though. So it's amazing. It's a time and a place, and we need more stuff like that where people figure out how to hack the mainstream to get a message like this out there.
We will not have as influential songs next time.
They go kind of into the gutter next time. They do some gutter trash. We'll have to see if it's tongue-in-cheek or if they go all. That's the thing. It's hard to know sometimes. Some of it's very serious, and some of it's about like partying and doing drugs and all the rest. And what are they endorsing? What are they condemning? What are they making fun of? What are they serious about? I guess they want us to just be nice and pray and not do drugs, obviously, but that's no fun either. So they ride in a razor's edge. They ride a tight, and maybe that's what freedom is. Maybe they are the survivors and they will live their freedom to, have some nonsense over here, have some serious over here.
Yeah.
Maybe
so
that's America.
Next time we'll get a little obscene and heroine-ish.
Yeah. These ones, we had the edited versions of these.
Oh, yeah, we did.
So get excited for that.
Yes.
That was the Polymuse experience.
I'm Michael.
My name's Ben. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you. We just want to be gratitude, utter gratitude for being alive and for living in a free country. And we are not in a war zone. We're in a peace zone by the grace of Jesus. And we're going to stay that way.
Amen.
Amen.